All right, revving up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hey friends, Ernie with the Trader of Futures and PatternCast. Here with another Bitcoin and crypto analysis. Of course, this isn't going to make most of you maximalists very happy. Never are. When I have something to say about current price projections. But let's just, look, reality is reality. And when you're listening to me about Bitcoin, you gotta listen. Why? Well, because I'm right about 99.9% of the time. Been right about this bubble every step of the way. Am I patting myself on the back? You damn well right. You are damn well right that I am patting myself on the back. Am I an arrogant bitch? You're damn well right I am an arrogant bitch. And I take pride in that arrogance. It's okay to be arrogant when you're right. Or as my mentor said, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of me when I know I'm right. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're wrong. And you take your licks when you're wrong. Stand up, admit it. But why can't you admit it when you're right? Also, of course you can. Bitcoin is about to take a plunge. A plunge. A big hit. Why am I saying that? Is it just a feeling? Oh, what a feeling! No! It is much more than that. Always believe people who say they're right 99.9% of the time, except for those people that can actually prove it. All you got to do is just go back, look at my predictions of Bitcoin price movement, where it's going, how it's described, and the proof is in the recording. Sorry. So you can come up with one of those anecdotal, colloquial sayings, Alex, but it don't mean shit. Don't mean shit. And I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks, including you, even though you're a pretty good commenter at times, when I know I am right. Now, if Bitcoin decides to rise from here, I will have to take my licks. But let me describe what I'm saying. I've already talked about the initial blow-off top, the secondary blow-off top, the first dead cat bounce, followed by the second dead cat bounce. So what I think is going to happen is that we're going to plunge a bit, perhaps create a new low on this this rollover, and then we're likely to go back up again and create the second dead cat bounce. So before that happens, I want to just put that caveat in there. I expect it to drop, scare the hell out of people, and then come back up for a secondary dead cat bounce. So from a technical point of view, we can see this thing setting up. Real easy to see. It'll just be right over my... I guess to you this would be my right shoulder, but it's really my left shoulder. It's right there. All right? If we take a look and compare this to the 2017-2018 bubble, you'll see a remarkable, friggin' remarkable similarity. Why don't we do that? Let's do that. And let's see, we'll just bring it back to 2017, 2018. There we go, right right there. All right. And then we'll move this over here so we can flip between them. So we just have to move this over a little bit. Are they both Coinbase? Yeah, I guess they're both Coinbase here. Okay. So this is 2018. We had the initial blow-off top. We had the secondary blow-off top. Now, some exchanges came in a little bit lower. Came in a little bit lower on the secondary blow-off top. So, actually, in Coinbase, I don't remember it coming up. Well, maybe it wasn't Coinbase. Most other exchanges didn't come up and create a new high here, so I'm not sure exactly why this is showing a new high. There must be an error in the data, because that's not what happened. That is definitely not what happened. Maybe on Coinbase it did. Let's try BTC USD, and we'll look at I don't know, Bitfinex. All right, so that looks more like it. That's a little bit more in line. Okay, then when we compare these two. All right, sorry for going through that, but here's the current market, and we can see that it had an exponential rise. First blow off top. Comes down hard, second blow off top, starts moving its way down. All right, so now we'll go back to 2018. Exponential rise. We gotta, don't forget the bear trap here. Comes up for the first blow off top, secondary blow off top, and then the dead cat bounces. And then there were successive dead cat bounces. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. All right? Virtually all bubbles look the same. Virtually all of them. Yep, happy Friday to you too, Michael. Summer dog days. Millennials still in their feeling buying in that high 13K price. Yep. I remember going from 20K to 10K, then back up to 16K, then down all last year. Yes. A95 says, this price action reminds me BTC before breaking 6K last year. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's exactly the same. If you go back and look at all the other bubbles in Bitcoin, you'll find that all of those are the same too. All of them. They're all the same. All of them have the same anatomy. It's a bubble. So, the only difference is in how they're spread out or compressed. Other than that, they pretty much have the same anatomy through and through. Now, will this one be different? It could be. It could be. I will concede that it could be different. The only thing is that difference probably has a very, very small percentage, very small probability of actually occurring. Again, bubbles It all comes down to sort of human psychology. They all pretty much act the same. Pretty much. All bubbles, not just Bitcoin. Every bubble that's ever existed pretty much follows this same pattern. I don't know why. It just does. You know, it's like you roll a ball off the edge of a table and it drops with a very, very well-defined curve based on the acceleration of gravity and its initial velocity. And then it bounces. Then it bounces again, then again, and again, and again until it stops bouncing. Why? Could that someday not do that? I suppose, you know, you could have, while it's falling down, we could have an earthquake or something, and then the ground shifts below it and then causes the ball to, or maybe when it bounces, it hits something on the way down, like, you know, my water bottle. And that could change at that time. Alex says that 2017-2018 was a much faster, harder correction, and the volume signature was much different than today. As I said, a lot of times it's compressed, expanded, and it may also be taller. Magnitude may be greater or less. But all the elements of it, the initial blow, well, first you get the bear trap. See, the bear trap. The initial blow off top, the secondary blow off top, and then the successive dead cat bounces on the way down. So if we were strictly to look at this from a technical point of view, a lot of people like technicals, but I'll use that and see if we can satisfy some people. We can see that there's a very nice pole here. And let's see, what other doohickeys do we have here? We can use the triangle. We have what appears to be a pennant. All right? And we know that this is basically a bear flag. One of the other telltale signs of a bear flag is in the creation of the pennant, this consolidation, that we have diminishing volume. And I want you to look down here. And what do we see? We see diminishing volume. All right? There are a number of other things here. From a volume profile point of view, we have this node that we're kind of centering on here, followed by this big volume well. And another big volume well. Now this first one may provide some resistance or some support, but I fully expect, I fully expect us to do something kind of like this, to there, and then maybe pop up a little bit, and then to here. All right. We could do something like that. We could also pop up a little bit here, maybe something like this. And then go down to here. That's entirely possible too. But it's going to be something like that. Also, retail tends to capitulate in bubbles, but there's been no retail interest in this time. And that's a very good point, Alex. Yeah, who put dislike? Sure, those who are looking for Lambos. That's right. So, speaking of that, A95, I want all of you right now to go down and hit the like button. Because I'm right, and you know it. Even though you don't want to admit it. You don't want to give someone props, but do it. Do it now. While you're down there, you can go down into the comment section. Not the comment section, but the description of this video. And you'll see that there's a couple of links there. The very first one goes to PatternCast.com. Go there and then click the button when you get to that page to express your interest for our up-and-coming Bitcoin signals. Now, he's saying, wait, he's talking Bitcoin signals now? Is he talking about trading? Hey, look, just because this is coming down, don't think that I'm not interested in making money. As a matter of fact, we're developing signals for Bitcoin that are based on our PatternCast technology that work wonders on futures, forex, and equities. And we're finding very, very, very promising applicability to this. Because, see, PatternCast is a technology that really doesn't care whether it's finance, whether it's weather, whether it's sports. It has predictive capability as long as we have a very large data set that it can evaluate and recognize patterns. And I'm telling you, the PatternCast, Bitcoin PatternCast, actually we'll have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and a few others, is going to be a killer service. So go down there, express your interest. Anyways, so this is what I see happening here with Bitcoin. And speaking of what you were just saying there, that there's not a whole lot of retail interest right now. I'm glad you said that. Because if we go over to right here, which is Google Trends, I just happened to do another Google trend. I want to show you the kind of interest that is that is forming in the general public. And this is all across the world, and you can see that interest is waning. Sure, we had some when it went up a little bit. In the big context of things, this wasn't a whole lot of interest, by the way, but it is now continuing to go down. And that is what Bitcoin is really. That is lifeblood. It needs people interested, pumping more money into it, creating more wallets, creating more nodes of interest, more connectivity. But no, we're not seeing that. We're seeing less. Much less. Much, much less. It's taking the wind out of the sails. That's why you see lower volume too. The other thing is here we've gone on this Bitcoin domination trip for a while, and we're getting up to a point that appears to be may have some resistance. There's a little stalling point here when Bitcoin initially started to lose its dominance in the rise of the cryptos right here. And so I expect there to be a little bit of an edge here and Bitcoin start to lose some of its dominance. Just a bit. And that should coincide with this further move down. All right, Yak, I'm glad to hear that. Embodiment guys get specials, I heard, says Iceman. People who have the lifetime membership on PatternCast will get the Bitcoin calls for free. They'll get the Bitcoin signals for free. If you're already a PatternCast member, I'm sorry to say you'll pay just like everybody else, but it's going to be a reasonable price. Peter says even a dump to 8,500, which is likely, would only be a 38% drop from the last top. I mean, 38% is still a lot. Michael says, you've been vindicated time and time again, hands down the best crypto voice of reason. I'll never forget your old channel, late 2017, ever. I didn't get wrecked. Thank you, Ernie. I really appreciate that, Michael. Peter N., you are wrong on this. In 2017, we dumped 70%. Yeah, but we haven't finished yet, Peter. How can you say I'm wrong when the event has not completed yet? And even if you're talking about that initial drop, it doesn't matter. Every bubble bursting is slightly different, but the shape is exactly the same. And there is no normal, I'm sorry to say. So you can't go by percentage, you can go by shape and behavior. Going by percentage and even time frame is a misnomer. You look at the shape that reflects the behavior of the mob. Ernie, do you have any volume profile course on this or next weekend? I haven't done volume profile for a while because I've been focusing on PatternCast. What I'm focusing on right now is developing some material around micro future contracts, because people who have small accounts now can take advantage of PatternCast because we have micro future contracts. This allows people with just a few $1,000s to trade futures. So I'm going to be focusing on that a little bit, and I'm doing it for the benefit of our partnership with a broker that we've developed an affiliation with. Alex says, until we break below 7 to 8K, there's no way to tell whether or not this is an average BTC bull market correction. I don't subscribe to the idea that there are some magic levels. There are no magic levels. The only level that I would really care about is in the completion of this, or near the culmination of this Bitcoin bubble anatomy. Once it starts getting down near the bottom or completing the bubble, you have to look at the long-term regression line all the way back from the beginning, because then I think that what will happen is we'll drop a little bit below that and then above it and then start stretching. And right now that line is around 5,000 to 6,000. So that's where I ultimately expect it to drop below there. Now, how far below? I don't know. It could drop down to 1,000. It could drop down to 5,000, 4,900. Who knows? But it's going to drop a little bit below that long-term regression line, then pop up and then straddle and then just keep on going sideways again until there's another event or another reason for it to start getting excited. Thanks, Yak. Really appreciate that. If you only go by shape, you would have to call the early 2013 price action a blow off top, but it went on for more than 5 times later that year. There's a little bit more than shape. I mean, you also have to look at volume and a few other things. But if you look at just Google bubble anatomy, and you'll start seeing there's a lot of treatises on this, and start examining it, and then go back and start looking at the commonality of all different types of markets in their bubbles. So will there be some volume profile in the near future? Well, if there's demand for it, I'll do it. But I may. But like I said, I've been very consumed with building up PatternCast and this new relationship we have. So that's really where I'm at. Did you hear about the Hyperwave dude? Yes, Tyler Jenks did pass away. And that's very sad. Now, it leads me to wonder whether or not there's going to be anybody that will pick up this whole concept of Hyperwave. Maybe I'll take it up. Maybe I will hijack. You know, I hope it's not jinxed. It doesn't have the jinx on it. But maybe I'll pick up Hyperwave sort of as a parody. I don't know if that will honor his name or disparage. But I was very critical of Tyler Jenks in the past, basically thinking that saying right out, I'll just say it. I'll say it right out that I mocked him. I mocked him for it, and I mocked Tone Vase for putting it on there and giving it any kind of credence. Of course, I mocked Tone Vase on Tom DeMark sequential analysis, too, because that's total bullshit, too. Yet he uses that all the time. So if Tone Vays were to pass away, God forbid, I'm not saying, I'm not wishing that on him at all. I'm just wondering, would I then, do a parody or pick up TD Sequence? I don't know. But Tyler seemed like a nice enough guy. I just think that his technology was just total bullshit. Raziel says, I do remember him praising you when you had the debate against Tone. So that's fine, because what I was talking about with Tone made total sense. And I argued that volume was significant in your analysis. And at the time, Tone Vays wanted nothing to do with volume. And lo and behold, after we had that debate, and then through voting, it was largely found that I just totally blew him away in that debate. I'm sure that that's arguable on both sides. I like Tone, and I think that he has a good head on his shoulder, but he totally discounted volume in an analysis, only because he was unfamiliar with it. And after I described that to him, he started to pay attention to it and starts incorporating it into a lot of his analysis. Ugly old goat wants to take over the hyper. I don't want to take over the hyperwave, and I don't know if I'm the ugly old goat that you're referring to. I really don't care. And I'm not looking to mock a dead man. I'm sure that Tyler made a lot of people happy. He was working with Leah Walds, who is kind of hot. And I'm sure that she's very sad to see him go too. So, I feel sorry for all of them. He seemed, too young to go. But none of us really know when that time's going to come. There are no new users installing Coinbase. All my friends and family have upgraded their phones since 2017 and forgot their password and don't care to reinstall. The weed man still doesn't accept Bitcoin. Yeah, and I remember there were even specific, or I should say, shit coins that was supposed to work in the weed industry. And you're right. I know personal dealers and people that that I work with that don't accept crypto. Alex says, I think Tyler's main contribution was his civility in the area where people are usually combative. Okay, I'll give you that. Like I said, I thought he seemed like a really nice guy. I was just surprised that he got as much notoriety on Hyperwave that he did. I don't know what... Maybe there was a Leah Walds, Tone Vays connection there, and that's what brought him in there. And once he was associated with Tone Vays, some of Tone's people spilled off on him, and he got that stuff. I don't know. But, look, I'm not going to mix words. I think Hyperwave is fucking idiotic bullshit. Just like I think that TD Sequence, or Tom DeMark, the biggest scam artist in history of futures trading and institutional trading, Tom DeMark Sequence is bullshit too. And Tone Vays bases all of his analysis on TD Sequence. Actually, he bases it on a bastardization. It's not even the real TD Sequence. He fucked it up from the beginning and created his own version of it and said it was better. So he created something that was better or better than the scam. So he created a better scam. That's right, Paul Marino. He does not even use the real DeMark indicators. DeMark isn't available on TradingView. Actually, you can create it on TradingView. It's not hard. I created indicators for DeMark Sequence on TradeStation. As a matter of fact, I re-engineered the entire TD Sequence and litany of tools that he had on TradeStation. And I did extensive statistical analysis on it and found that it was total bullshit. So why do you think the bull market is done? Mac RP still bullish, is it not? Mac RP, Mac D? Oh, macro? I don't know what you're talking about. Weekly and monthly. I didn't say the bull market is done. I said that this bubble is done. I don't know what you consider a bull market. This was in no way a bull market. It was just some friggin' anomaly where people got excited. It became overvalued for a time, and now it's blowing off. Ugly Old Gold is a diff person, ex-top 10 trader on BitMEX. I don't know who you're referring to. Must have missed that one. Alex says, I don't like Hyperwave either, but he did issue a sell signal on Bitcoin in December 2017 based on it, because it was based on the bubble anatomy. It was a no-brainer. Hyperwave was the bubble anatomy. He just put a different name on it. That's why it was bullshit. His self-proclaimed better TD without actually backtesting. He doesn't yes, Tone Vase does not backtest any of it. You cannot backtest TD. I've backtested it on virtually every futures product, every Forex, many different equities, going back dozens and dozens of years, have not found any statistical significance in its predictability at all. I think crypto bull market will be strong in 2021. Well, okay, whatever. Who knows? Like every 4 years, it goes to new highs. Yeah, that's I guess that's a reasonable. Maybe there is a seasonal approach to this. I wouldn't discount that. I haven't analyzed that. It could happen, or it might not. Who knows? Mr. Happy says it was a whale bubble only, and that I agree with. I do agree that whales are completely manipulating. They manipulated the last bubble. Also, people who are involved in the CME futures product for Bitcoin had a heavy dose of manipulative acuity in the last bubble. In fact, that's why I called the last bubble, months before it even happened, that it was all going to be about the CME futures. And in fact, I named the day, the very day, that bubble would burst. And I said it would be on the day that the CME futures were introduced, December 17th. And that's exactly the day, to the day, that was the high on that last bubble. I've heard Tone use the term backtest when he actually is speaking about price retracements. So Tone has no idea what a backtest is. Most people that do backtest don't know what a proper backtest is. Backtests are bullshit. Backtests are typically just curve fitting. In other words, changing your own configuration of your strategy to fit past data. That's not backtesting. That's fucking fraud. For better or worse, anyone who has held BTC for 2 consecutive fiscal years hasn't lost money up to today. All right, so let me just give you, I'll give you that. All right, but it really depends on when you actually went into it. So what you're saying is patently false. Because I can pick a time when anybody could have got into a particular area where they would have been a certain loser. All right? And then there would have been other times where you would have been a certain winner. All depends on when you actually get into it. How sure are you that it will break 8K? I have no friggin' idea. How sure am I? I would say that there's probably between a 70 and 80% chance. It's very possible that for whatever reason someone pumps it up and keeps it above that level. I don't know. I think it's highly unlikely. It's not in the interest of people of whales. They've done their job. They've eked out and squeezed out more money out of the plebes out there, the retail traders. They've accumulated more Bitcoin, so there is more Bitcoin than ever in some of the top wallets around the world, and less distributed amongst the fucking idiots. How sure are you I'm wearing underwear? Whatever. Norm, what are you talking about? TD for you wannabe. Show us your trading account instead. What are you talking about? TD for you wannabe. Show us your trading. And that is like first of all, nobody's going to show you their trading account ever. And if they do, they're idiots. Because that doesn't prove anything. And I could show you anything. I mean, I could show you, any series of data that could show you anything. It doesn't mean anything. Show the trading account instead. That's your trading account, Norm. So the only thing that I've got to go on that I'm willing to share with people is what I express on these videos. And either I'm right or I'm wrong. Right? I mean, look, I also called the bottom of the Great Depression, or not the Great Depression, the Great bear market of 2009. I called it to the dollar, and I have documented proof of it. I have an article that I wrote on Seeking Alpha, still up there today. You can look at it. Shows you that I called it 5 months in advance to the dollar, 666 on the S&P. What does that mean? It means that I called it. Did I back up did I remortgage my house and bet everything on it? No, I didn't. But I called it. How about show us you setting up your trades live? Well, I did that for a long time when I first introduced PatternCast last year. And I don't understand what benefit that has. Well, I just said I called it, but I didn't trade it. That doesn't mean that I was wrong. Because anything else that I called is also out there. So, if it were wrong, people would see that as well. And then they could compare it. Paul Marino says, I'll like BTC more when the rest of the alts are dead and buried. Yeah, well, we still have Libra coming up. And I suspect that there's going to be a fair amount of marketing muscle put into that. And from that, I believe that there will be a vacuum, a big sucking sound, pulling money away from Bitcoin. I suspect that will happen. Now, if Libra presents a threat, any kind of threat, to U.S. commerce or the dollar, I guarantee, there's just no doubt in my mind, guaranteed, the government will step in and squash that faster than you can possibly imagine. The Litecoin halving is a week and a half away, and it's starting to dump because it's been priced in. I guess. The halving. I don't particularly put a lot of credence in the halvings. All right. Yeah, but see, most people don't know that. Most people just see it as another alternative currency. All they really care about is will it work for them. Most people don't even understand the concept of Bitcoin. They think it's a crypto, and any other crypto is just as good as any other crypto. That's what most people think. You're not going to get a preponderance of people jumping on the bandwagon of all the benefits of a decentralized currency. It's just not going to happen. It's going to suck a lot of money away from BTC. Well, it's interest, whether it's used for payments or whatever. It's just interest in that technology. It's going to suck it away because you have 22 of some of the biggest financial companies in the world and Facebook, biggest social platform in the world, that will be hyping the hell out of it. That's all they'll see. All right? And as far as they're concerned, that's where they'll want to be. So, Iceman, I feel the same way about Facebook. The only reason why I'm continuing on with Facebook is that I have a bunch of pool-playing buddies that hang out there. Supposedly FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google will issue their digital current coins. If Amazon does, that might eat up a chunk of the market share. That's what Libra is supposed to be. I mean, I don't think that Facebook is going to abandon Libra. And if you're thinking that Amazon's going to come up with their own coin, maybe they will. Again, it will all depend on whether or not the government looks at that as a threat. And then they will determine through regulatory action whether or not those implementations will have a chance of surviving. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry. You can listen to Andreas Antonopoulos all you want, but he lives in a dream world. The Great Depression. No, I meant the Great... the Great Crash of 2009. No, I'm not that old. How old do I look? There's the question. How old do I look? See, if I shave my beard, then I look another 10, 15 years younger. But I've had a white beard now for 20 years. All right. I want to thank everybody very much. That is my prediction for now. That we're going to see a big plunge in Bitcoin very soon, followed by another move up and then move down. It's what I call the secondary dead cat bounce. And looking very, very much forward to introducing Bitcoin signals, or actually crypto signals, to you guys. I think that there's going to be tremendous opportunity in the crypto space because of the heightened volatility. Old enough to be an expert on 70 porn stars. Well, let's see. In 1978, I did go to a movie. Well, I tried to go to a movie with Linda Lovelace and John Holmes at UMass, but that got canceled through some rather interesting events. Bitcoin is hard money. What the fuck? There's a delusion statement if I ever heard one. First layer is not meant for payments. The first priority is making the network secure. Payments will come later. Oh my God. Living in a fucking dream world. Anyone in BTC right now won't leave BTC for Libra. I agree with that. They may not leave BTC, but they'll probably try out Libra. At worst, Libra will do nothing for future interest in BTC. XRP is the government coin. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not making a prediction on any of these coins going into the future, other than that I think that all of them have little hope of survival. And that, in my view, there's likely to be something that will come out of left field. I'm putting my bets on Carbon, which is based on Hedera Hashgraph. I think that has a better chance. Its technology is superior. But that's it. All right, so go down, hit the like button. All right, make sure you click on that little bell thingy and click the share button and share it on your social media. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a great weekend. It's beautiful weather out there right now. I got to go take the dogs out for a walk. And we'll see you next time.